that was on the second spacewalk, I believe. And I don't know. Oh, I heard that the third walk, which might have been the one today or something, I heard that there was going to be another one. There was some kind of problem that they ran into. It wasn't with the cooling system. I think they were out working on something else. So I don't know about that, but they did fix the cooling problem. Half the station cooling was shut down, which is not a good thing. But they had a spare, and they thought they could fix it from the ground, but then finally called for them to replace it. So that's been taken care of. What they were out for the third time, I'm not sure of. I don't know. I'll have to do some research.
Time out.
Okay, Rick, let's see. I think I was going to ask you, now that you mention it, the heating, I guess being in the sun all the time, and then going into the Earth's shadow, I wonder if there's a big temperature variation and it causes problems with structural whatever or not. Do you know, Rick?
Time out. Over. APU. Release clear. Repeater. Ready.
I timed it out too.
I don't have any coffee going either. Or I'd stand out on the corner and fill cups as people drove by. I don't know where I timed out, but when I did release, it took almost 45 seconds before the thing timed out. Of course, it's cold up there, so the electrons are probably moving slower. But I don't know where I dropped out.
No, I keyed up without waiting. I was asking you, the ISS must get hot being in the sunshine, and does it affect the structural integrity going from sunshine into the Earth's shadow in any way?
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it's almost a 400 to 600 degree difference between being in full sunlight and then being in the Earth's shadow. So the expansion and contraction and stuff, yeah, all that stuff has to go into the design so that things don't fall apart on it due to stress. But yeah, and they have to remove the heat from the inside from all the equipment. You know, the power conditioners, the power converters, and then all the equipment that all the power systems run. They all generate heat just like, you know, our radios do when we key down and stuff. So, and they get rid of it by this flash evaporator system, and it's ammonia cooling loop of some kind. I don't really know. Never looked into exactly how it worked, but it's basically the same system that. Same type of technology they used on the shuttle to keep that cool on the inside.
Okay, Rick, and if I remember correctly, refrigerators used to run on ammonium nitrate or something like that. Let me throw out another roll call for check-ins. Anybody wants to check into the newcomers around the table? This is N1QOV. Your call signs, please. Okay, anyone can join. Anyone can join. It's not a formal thing. Informal. Just check in, throw your call sign out, and listen, or venture a question or an answer or whatever. Call signs.
K1FFK.
Guess not. Well. Who we got here? Ding ding. We're supposed to go over to John, WA1ZHM. Any bad crashes over there in Suicide Corner?
I won last night, not in the intersection there, but in front of the paint store there, on the next intersection down. People went to the hospital. Oh man, I think that's even corners. Because people, they just don't stop for that light. Then people start out from the stoplight there in the parking lot, and there's nowhere to go for anybody. They just head on. Always scares me coming through there anyway. You know as well as I do, you got to watch out for the other guy all the time. Wanted to mention, Marlene, she said Greenland and Iceland. I wonder why they call it Greenland, Greenland, and Iceland, Iceland, when there's more ice in Greenland than there is in Iceland.
I think because they, and when they first started roaming around discovering things, they couldn't get anybody to go to Iceland, so they called it Greenland, figuring they'd suck people into going over there and settling down. Well, that's just what I heard.
You know, that's as good as explanation as any, I guess.
Okay, got any other check-ins? Anybody check into the newcomers roundtable? With or without information, with or without questions, with or without whatever. Check-ins for the newcomers roundtable, all are welcome.
And when SYN with an additional before I secure.
Hey, it's informal. Go ahead, Rick.
All right, thanks. Yeah, from Arlene and the rest. The third spacewalk didn't end up too well. The two Russian cosmonauts went out, and they were supposed to install two cameras that are also telescope imagers on a pointing platform that belonged to a Canadian commercial company. And they were supposed to, they were designed to downlink Earth observation imagery, but the cameras failed, the ones that they had brought out and installed failed due to a telemetry fault. So they were returned back into the module for further analysis. As they said here, meaning that the spacewalk was mainly for nothing. But they removed some other Russian experiment package and jettisoned it. And that's always pretty cool. Ever watch them when they take some experiment that is worth bringing back home? They just unbolt the thing and they sort of chuck it down towards the Earth, and it eventually burns up. So, but that's the scoop on what the other problem was on the other space.
Time out.
Okay, Rick, we'll say, well, I guess we'll say that's it for now. What we got here? Satellite tracking programs. We've got Orbitron is a nice one. Heavens Above is a nice one. I guess you don't have to do the two-line elements anymore. I think there's a November 2 Yankee over in New York. He's got a pretty nice one. And I imagine if you just do a Google on satellite tracking programs, probably bring you up a ton of them. But I sort of favor Orbitron and Heavens Above, and the other guy, N2Y, I think it is. Let's see, who's it going to? I think John just, Doug, N1AND. Andy, your turn.
Time out. Over. APU. Release clear. Repeater. Ready.
N1AND, your turn.
That took pretty close to a minute after I unkeyed. I didn't even realize that I had timed it out.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
And yeah, Rick, it usually comes right back after you unkey. It must have been somebody else was trying to get in there. I have a question for you before you take off. It says here the Falcon 9 rocket was carrying the Viacom 6 satellite to geosynchronous transfer orbit. Now, I know what geosynchronous means, but geosynchronous transfer orbit, I need some help on. You or anybody else that's in there can answer me that question?
once they get it up to a certain altitude and heading in the right direction, it's usually an elliptical orbit, and they're sort of in orbit, but not. They want a circularized as much as possible orbit, although none is actually ever perfectly circular. But the Falcon gets the thing into its insertion orbit, and then there's a transfer burn, usually of a package on the satellite itself, that at a certain point that kicks the thing and evens it out into a circle.
Okay, so actually, geosynchronous orbit would be kind of lopsided like the moon, but they're trying to get it rounder. Is that correct?
There's geosynchronous and geostationary. Most of the communications satellites are geostationary, and they're put out over a certain area that they're going to have coverage on, and they maintain a speed so that they're in the same spot all the time, apparent from Earth. You know, that's why you can get dish TV and all that stuff. You got the satellites sitting up there, and they match the Earth's rotational speed. The geosynchronous orbit, those are used for different types of things, and they appear in a certain spot at the same time every day. They don't always have to be in the same spot, but they want them in a certain spot. They don't match the Earth's movement and appear stationary. If you look up what did you just say? Geosynchronous and geostationary on Google or something, they can explain it probably a little bit better on that the other one, the geosynchronous.
Okay, Rick. N1AND. Yeah, geosynchronous. I've heard the term, and I know what that means. That the satellite is actually orbiting the Earth, and geostationary is it's orbiting. Well, it's going at the same rate the Earth is revolving. But this is geosynchronous transfer, and that was the part that threw me. What does it mean, transfer? And I guess it's what you said, where they would throw the normal orbit into a different configuration, so it wouldn't be so oval.
That's what the transfer from its elliptical to the more circular is what's that transfer insertion they were talking about. So yeah, but all I know about the geosynchronous is that they appear in a certain spot the same time every day is needed for whatever they're supposed to do. I've never looked into it any further. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. They go around like the space station. It makes passes. It's not like you say, like a satellite for your television or whatever is at the same spot all the time. It's going around at the same speed the Earth revolves. Very good. That answers my question. Back to Net.
K1FFK.
Questions?
Go ahead, Marlene. Question away. N1QB.
Okay, thanks. Rick, are you still there?
Yep.
When you watch these spacewalks, can you watch them on the internet, or do you have to watch them on TV?
That's the only place I can watch them today because nobody will put them on the TV. Just look up, just go for NASA TV, and it'll take you to the NASA site, and they'll have a couple of options for you can point at their satellite or try to convince your cable company, which I've been doing for decades, but it's been fruitless. And or you can Ustream has a feed, and there's a couple of other there's a couple of other internet streaming sites that provide the feeds.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm going to try to look into that and see if I can watch some of those spacewalks. Thank you, Rick. This is KF4LHH and back to the net.
Gotta run, folks. Have a good one, N1SY.
Okay, Rick. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, everybody's saying TV is going to be a thing of the past pretty soon. The internet's going to take over where that radio and TV is dead. So they say. Yeah, there's a ton of video streaming places, and most of them carry the same stuff. Some are a little more trailer trash than others. But let's see, who's it supposed to go to? Let me see if there's any more check-ins. Does anyone want to get into the newcomers roundtable? Any call sign, any station, anywhere? All welcome. This informal net. N1QOB.
This is KC1 ASJ.
Okay, KC1ASJ, I think it was. Pick it up. We'll put you right on right now. Go ahead.
Oh, I've got nothing to add. I was just listening in. A very interesting conversation. We're here in Ringe, just listening in here and picking up a lot of good information.
N1AND.
Go ahead, direct, Andy. Doug.
You're confusing everybody. Marlene doesn't know what my name is now. I've been called worse, so that's for sure. KC1ASJ, good evening, George. Good to hear you. We were chatting, I don't know when, a while ago, and we were all discussing Baofeng UV5Rs, and you said that you had some extra, not excess, there's no such thing as excess knowledge, some extra knowledge that maybe most folks didn't know anyway. I'd be interested to hear that.
Yeah, that was actually Alpha Bravo 1 Sierra, Tango Sierra, I should say, out of New Ipswich or Ringe. His name was Paul. I heard him on Sunday, said he was going to key in here and give us all some information on those. He's, I would guess maybe 2 miles from where I'm at, and I did hear him say that as well. I'm not sure if he's listening in right now or not.
Oh, okay. We were all in there, I think, at that time, and somebody mentioned the little Baofangs, and we got in a short discussion there, and I know somebody, I thought that was you, had said that you were going to join the newcomers roundtable and maybe expand our knowledge a little bit. So it was Paul. Well, okay. Anyway, welcome to the newcomers roundtable, and glad to have at least one newcomer here. All us old timers are just yakking. N1AND, back to net.
Come on, Marlene knows who you are, Andy. Anyway, hey, why don't I turn it into a free-for-all? Anybody can do what they want for a few minutes while I do a few things in the other room and maybe get a coffee and visit a little boys' room. See what I can find, scrounge up for a little donut or something. So I'll turn it over to you, Doug, to be net control or just free-for-all, N1QOB.
Well, okay. See how you are? Get us all excited and leave. Well, anyway, see, now I don't have a list. I don't know who's going where. But anyway, I'm going to turn it over to George because he just got here, or he just checked in. And anything you'd like to talk about, George, anything at all, just let it fly. KC1ASJ and the Newcomers Roundtable, this is N1AND.
No, nothing to add. Just, of course, listening in a little bit on that controversial subject of global warming and all of that. And, of course, just reading recently that the pack ice in Antarctica is
migrated out further than it's been any time in the last 20 years. So that, coupled with the fact that I think I was reading today that 2/3 of the United States is I think below 16 degrees Fahrenheit for the first time in a long time. I guess it brings all that into question a little bit.
Yes, I understand that. I think Marlene had a real good point there about things going around in a cycle. If you read the Bible at all, we had what? We had a flood, we had fire, we had ice age, we had all kinds of things. So yeah, the scientists are now all up in arms because they say that the temperature, or there are certain indications that the temperature is rising. They're not around here tonight, I'll tell you that, because it's about 25 or something. And a few days ago, it was like 4 in the morning when I looked at the thing. And our friend Jason gelled up the fuel in his truck. He said it was 25 below zero over where he was. Anyway, I don't know where it goes because I didn't make a list. Obi had the list, but I'm going to turn it over to Ramon. I know he was at the top of it. N1XBI and the Neutron Warrior Roundtable. This is N1AND. Okay, nothing heard. I don't know. Ramon took off too. Obi took off. Rick took off. John, WA1ZHM, are you still with us?
I are here, but I think it's Marlene's turn.
Whoops. Okay. I'll go ahead if you say so, Doug.
Go right ahead, Marlene. I'm at a loss here. I'm like I just tuned in or something here. I don't have the list, so. Anyway, go ahead. KF4LLH in the roundtable. This is N1AND.
Okay, thank you, Doug. No, I just, another thing I noticed about the weather was that I'm reading up so much on this, but it seemed like when I was a child, when I was growing up, you had like the north had winter and the south was milder, but it was like the jet stream came down and it kind of stayed down pretty much all across the country. I could be wrong. It'd be interesting to find out if it's ever flip-flopped like it does. It seems like lately it'll come up in the east and warm up, and then it drops down in the west and it gets really cold. And it's just unusual to me that it flip-flops like that. But anyway, I can't think of anything else right now. Go ahead.
I was talking to an amateur in Texas. I forget. I think he said he was just north of Fort Worth, or just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Maybe I don't know for sure. He was in Texas somewhere, and he said he was kind of concerned about his antennas because there was so much ice on them. He was afraid they might come down, and I said, "Geez, I used to haul mail to Dallas, and I don't recall ever worried about ice in Texas. We were worried about trying to keep cool." But crazy things, isn't it? And now look, this morning the temperature was 57 degrees on my indoor-outdoor thermometer. Let me drop. And I watched it all day long, dropping. You could almost watch it, go down. And there was a ham. I checked into the net on 14300 at just before noon, and there was another ham in there from Ohio. He said he was mobile in Ohio, and he said it's 8 degrees below zero. So I said, boy, that's what's coming this way. I don't know. Over to you, John. WA1ZHM and 1AND.
Well, anything below zero, as far as I'm concerned, is not for my liking. WA1 when's that age, huh? My bones ache when the weather gets that cold. Tomorrow's supposed to be kind of windy too, so the wind chills are going to drop like a rock. The high temperature is going to probably be around 7. Start out at 4, so it's not going to move much. I hate to say, but the wind is going to be the big factor in the, exposed skin. Once it gets to about 20 below chill factor, 3 minutes, and you're already causing damage. So there you go. We'll keep that skin covered and, hunker down. We're tough. We've been through it before. Although there's going to be some frost on those beaches in Georgia. What do you think, Marlene?
KF4LHH here. Yeah. I've heard from friends in Georgia, and it gets down to 50, and they're saying, "Oh God, it's cold," and I'm thinking, they don't know. But I like the cold weather. I don't like that wind chill factor, but when I'm more comfortable in cooler weather than I am the hot weather. I can't stand the hot weather, so that's one reason we moved up here. Back to you, John.
I agree, Marlene. I always liked it. When I was younger, I'm an old poop now, and I don't like it too hot, and I don't like it too cold. But, when it's cold, I stay in the house, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, that below zero stuff. I used to be out in it all the time, and just kind of got used to it. But I've been retired for almost 10 years, or 8 years, and no, if it's cold or snowing or pouring rain like it was all day here, I stay in the house. Right now I got 29 degrees in beautiful downtown Munson, and I can't imagine that we started out at this 8 o'clock or so this morning. It was 57 degrees. It was crazy. Anyway, I don't know who's left in here. Obi, did you come back N1QOV? This is N1AND.
Yeah, I'm back, but I've got maple cinnamon bread with peanut butter and jelly, so looks like I'm going to be a free-for-all for a few minutes.
Now, you're that crazy guy I think I saw on the screen with the monkey bread. With a package that said monkey bread. Okay, I think I'm going to bow out of here and go turn on the boob tube and see if there's anything worth watching on there. 7-3s to all, and enjoyed the little conversation tonight. We should do this every Monday night instead of every other. Sometimes though we've done it and no one checks in. Everybody got something else to do, I guess. Let me drop. So I'm going to say 7-3 to everybody, and with your permission, Mr. Obi, and swallow, and because you're going to have to take back over because I'm leaving. Just a word, just in case anybody didn't hear about it. John Shaw, K1DEU, became a silent key last Thursday, and we just want to recognize that. 7-3 to all, N1AND. Over to you, Obi.
Okay, Doug, catch you later. Been a pleasure, as always. You keep things going. I'll make a quick call. Any further stations wishing to check into the Newcomers Roundtable? Any and all stations are welcome. Informal net, anything you want to talk about is fine. Please check in now. Okay, do a couple of quick thingies here. Anybody wants to get a hold of me off air, it's n1qov@yahoo.com. n1qov@yahoo.com for any off the air stuff. And we have a little thing here locally on Facebook. Ding ding, anybody wants to get involved with our group, and there's a Western Mass Emergency Net group there, and there's a couple other groups related to amateur radio, and a bunch of us that know each other. Maybe Marlene knows how to get a hold of everybody more than I do. I'll do a few announcements. Again, this Newcomers Roundtable is the first and third Monday of every month at 7:30. This repeater. There might be an idea, Doug, if we get enough people interested, and I usually, crazy guy that I am, probably can get people talking and keep the net open. We'll see what people think. To do with club stuff, there's traffic nuts at 10 a.m. and 1300. 1300 is Monday through Friday. The 10 o'clock morning net is Monday through Saturday and 10:15 on Sunday. We got here, in case you're interested in HF 80 meters CW, there's an HF CW traffic net that meets on 3565 kc, kilohertz for your new people. At 7:30 Monday through Friday, 3565 CW HF traffic net Monday through Friday, 7:30. For the new guys, there's Western Mass Emergency Net, starting at 8:30, 3944 lower side, and then moving at 9 o'clock up to the HF 26, 440, 220, 9, 9:30, 9:45, and 10 a.m. respectively. Next No Bar Club meeting is the 26th of January at 2 p.m. at the Great Barrington Fire Station on State Road in Great Barrington. Again, 26th January, 2 p.m., Great Barrington Fire Department Station. And I guess the club is still looking for one board member to be voted upon and a Squelch Tail editor. So if you don't mind, know anything about text and computers and junk and gathering news, and looking for a Squelch Tail editor, which is the rag of the Northern Berkshire Amateur Radio Club. And the website for the club is nobark.org, Northern Berkshire Amateur Radio Club.org, NOBARC.org. Sometimes it'll bring you up to the Bay Area Amateur Radio Club somehow or other, but anyway. What you got going on this weekend? HF contest and junk, the Michigan QRP CW thingy, 160 through 6. The Straight Key Century Club or something like that, Sprint CW this weekend, this coming weekend, 160 through 6. The United Kingdom, Britain, whatever, PSK 63, if you like doing the digital junk, PSK 63, 160 through 10, I think it is. And North American QSO Party CW 160 through 10, all this coming weekend. Further stations to check in to the Newcomers Roundtable, all welcome.
K1FFK.
Me, myself, and I. Anybody got something to say in the meantime, and or want to bow out or whatever? This is on QB.
KF4LHH here. I think I'll bow out right now, and so good to hear everyone in there. And yeah, I agree, Obi. If more people could come in on this net, it would be interesting. But anyway, I enjoyed it this evening, and I'm just gonna. I should have had more coffee. Maybe I would have been able to talk more. Anyway, catch y'all later. 73. This is KF4LHH. I'll be clear.
KC1ASJ, I'm going to bow out as well. Like a great discussion, and thanks for hosting it.
Okay, Marlene, and I'm not sure the name, but anyway. Yeah. It seems as though the more ways we have to communicate, the less we communicate for some reason or other. Become more insulated from one another. And we lock ourselves in a room and watch I Love Lucy reruns. Just my stupid commentary on society. Okay, ding, ding, ding. Well, it might be a thing of people listen to the repeater and say, well, there's nobody ever on there, so why listen? Who's left here? Well, let's see. I did announcements. Who's left? John, you still in there, or whoever?
Are still here. WA1ZHM. Well, might as well tie the ribbon on it. If we haven't got any more check-ins, and it seems I think you've broken the record anyway. It's run for a little over an hour now. Pretty good. Good on you.
Okay. I want to ask. It's kind of a sensitive thing. You've been in the Marines, and you know, the longer I'm away from, you know what, you know where. The more I think about things that really didn't strike me as being important. Well, John, I'll ask you directly. If you don't know, that's all right. But hey, when somebody gets like a shell on them, and there's like a leg over here and an arm over there and whatever over there and guts all over, who picks that up and brings it back? Is that the guys that are with them, the grunts, or do they call in medics or special, or you know, John?
All above, any way possible. Have to send a retrieval squad out. That's what you got to do. So, yeah, a lot of guys die trying to retrieve parts and pieces, and you know, somehow you wonder. I think that's what you're saying.
Well, I'll close the net. The net is closed. But anyway, I was looking at some pictures, and just down the road from us was a mortuary, and they were flying in choppers and bringing truckloads of bodies in, and then they would later on in the day there'd be flatbeds going over to the aircraft with silver caskets, and I just always wondered who retrieves all this stuff and like that. But anyway, probably shouldn't be something I should be asking on the air.
Oh no problem. And no man left behind. You know that credo. You know the medevac. I must say that a lot more injured people, let's call them, were retrieved in battle due to the helicopter in Vietnam than any other effort we were in. And if you look at the recovery rates and stuff, it's fantastic because we were able to get them back to the hospitals quickly. That was the key. But yeah, well, hey, if your buddy next to you went down, you threw him over your shoulder and brought him back.
Yeah. Oh, that was the dust off, right? Dust. I remember you sit down to eat. Here comes a chopper, man. Dust all over, crap all in your in your. You got a hot meal from chow line, okay? For the sea rations, okay too. But every time you sit down to eat, here comes a chopper. Okay, John, we'll call it a wrap and whatever. See you on Facebook or something. See everybody on Facebook. And again, my call at yahoo.com N1QOV. If anybody needs to know something, or maybe needs to know nothing. And we're on Facebook also. Facebook. Yeah. Might want to look up Western Mass Emergency Net. That'll bring it to somewhere. I'm clear.
I was in Operation Starlight. Look that up sometime. Operation Starlight. Catch you later, WA1ZH.
Ncrt.
Okay, and then only probably the last 15 minutes are being recorded. I forgot to turn on the video here. So the last part will be available on Ustream and YouTube. N1QE. See everybody later.